Hello. So as you can tell by the title of the video, we are going to be diving into how to keep your head up, how to keep going when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, because it is tough. Yeah, I've been there. I know many people, most people have been there. So this doesn't have to be a depressive episode. It could be a breakup. It could be anything. Quite literally anything where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to hopefully give you some good tips that definitely help me. I have gone through a month this year pretty much of not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, but because of the knowledge that I have and this mindset and these tips I'm going to share with you today, I'm still here, still thriving, and I kept keeping on and I got myself out of it. So let's just dive right into it. So to set the scene, I just want you to take yourself back to a time where you might have felt like this, or maybe you're feeling like this right now and that's why you've found this video. So step one, recognize the temporariness of everything. So think about all the good times that you've had. Think about how they didn't last forever. The memory, yeah, that'll last forever, but the actual moment itself obviously didn't. This is stating the obvious, but sometimes when you're in those feelings of not goodness, feeling sad, feeling mad, whatever it is, it feels like it's lasting forever, feels like maybe that's all you've ever felt, feels like that's all you will ever feel. But I want you to bring yourself back down to earth, basically. Remember all the good times, remember every single emotion you've ever felt and how temporary they all were. You've probably been through something maybe similar or just equally as bad or roundabouts as bad as what you might be going through right now, and I'm sure you can say you've gotten yourself out of it. It was temporary, it faded away, and maybe this is a relapse of that, but hopefully these tips can then help you get yourself out of it and not go back there. Or at least every time it does come up, you're able to get yourself out of it easier, quicker, and with less resistance, I suppose. But at the end of the day, I'm not a psychologist, and I always recommend people to see someone that is qualified psychologist and to help them specifically with their situation, because obviously this is only a one-way street. I can give you tips, but I can't hear your specific situation. So recognize the temporariness in everything. That within itself honestly brings me so much peace, and it rationalizes so much for me in itself. So I hope that tip alone does a lot for you. It's obviously harder in the moment to recognize that and to bring yourself to that. That's why maybe save this video and watch it for when you are in those moments. I know it's hard for me initially to think about all these things when your brain's constantly feeding you all these negative things. It's usually to save yourself. It's like the fight or flight thing, but practice makes progress. So the more you consciously bring yourself to these thoughts, the more it'll happen in the future. Create these mental habits, if you will. Okay, step two, search for the stem of these feelings. So it can be a bit traumatic, it can be a bit intense, searching deeper into these shitty feelings, but hopefully recognizing the temporariness of everything, you feel a little bit more peace going into that. And obviously, like if you're about to go to work, sometimes you can't really dive deep right then because you're just going to put yourself in a deeper state of that feeling for a little bit. Maybe you won't, maybe this will help bring you out of it, but sometimes it can put you deeper into it. But I think sometimes it is necessary so that you come out of it with a bit of a resolution, a bit of a solution. You understand yourself more, rather than, oh, I felt like shit and now I feel less like shit because time has passed. It's good to come out of it, but it's also good to learn from it so that you know what has happened, you know why, and you know how you got out of it and how to not really go back there again. So really understanding the stem of your feelings, so why you're feeling that way. Maybe it's hormone imbalance, maybe it's a mixture of that, and maybe it's, I don't know, if it was a breakup, maybe you feel some parts of regret, but like, why are you regretful? Why do you miss them? Is it because you don't have that comfort anymore Is it because they were your best friend and you're grieving your ex-partner and also now your ex-best friend maybe? So those are just some examples. Apply this to any part of your life and just dig deeper. Keep asking yourself why. It can feel never ending, but eventually you'll find a root cause or causes and you'll understand yourself a bit more. When you find the stem of your feelings, you can then seek more specific help for what you're going through and specific support and advice. Which then leads me into step 3, which is find the stem of your happy feelings. So when you're feeling your best, when you're feeling your most powerful, what is the stem of that? Like, what are you doing? What does that look like? And I want you to think internal to yourself, and everything that's within your control. So rather than thinking, I was happy around my ex 50% of the time or whatever, nothing like that. All to do with like your habits. So do you feel you're most happy, you're most in your power when you're working and you're in the zone, or when you go on your morning walks every morning, when you wash your hair once a week, whatever it is, can be the smallest things. But I want you to recognize the stem of your happy feelings, because that's going to be very important in recognizing how you can get there in a specific way. It's giving you a little bit of like a step-by-step guide on how you can feel your best, because how I feel my best might not look the same to you. The habits that I like to do that makes me feel more in my power may be opposite or just different to you, and I don't want to project my good habits onto you and for you to feel responsible to do when they might not make you feel better at all. And then step 4, it comes into taking action, and I know it's so much easier said than done, of course, or else we'd all just be doing the things, but it truly just comes down to doing the lowest resistance thing, the easiest thing, the smallest thing, whether it's doing your laundry, because I know when you can get into like those depressive feelings, feeling very alone and just in your thoughts, it's hard to want to tend to keeping your wellness up, keeping your space clear. So it could be putting all the cups from your room into the dishwasher, whatever it is. It could be having a little bit of an uncomfortable conversation. That might be later on, but you want to start with the lowest resistance thing, because obviously you might not be in the mood to do that. It might not have the energy, the emotional capacity to do much. So start with the lowest resistance thing and ease your way up and just stay consistent, which leads me into step 5, the last step. Recognize that every little thing will compound, and it just does take consistency and trusting the process. I know in these times it's so hard to see the light out at the end of the tunnel, and that's the point of this video. But you've just got to stick to those little habits, those little things, low resistance things that you can do every single day. I will give you an example. So for myself, I went for my walks every day. I journaled when I felt like I needed to. I took space away from people when I needed to, but also more than anything, I needed to recognize when I needed comfort around people. I needed support and not validation. So I knew I had to step away from seeking validation and had to find discipline in that, but that came later. That was a higher resistance thing. So I started off with my walks, started off with drinking more water, little things like that, and then I gradually started to feel so much better in myself, because I was working on myself, which is a whole other conversation about self-trust and confidence. But for the most part, it just takes consistency and trusting that you are worthy of working on and putting these little bits of effort into consistently every single day, and you will come out of it. Just like we spoke about at the start, everything is temporary and you will come clear of this. And I definitely want you to stay aware of this whole process, because I want you to learn something, and I'm sure that you would also want to learn something so that you don't feel that way again, or you at least don't feel it to the extent that you did, or you at least feel more comfortable and at peace in the process of getting back out of it again. Back to the whole recognizing every little thing will compound. This applies in both ways, good and bad. So if you're practicing habits that are comfortable in the moment, but you know deep down are putting you further back into that depressive feeling, those will also compound and of course take you back. It will take a little bit of grit to push through, but that is where you grow. You grow from discomfort, and you will come out of this so much stronger. And you've got to envision what you're going to be like 2 weeks from now and just keep working towards that. Be realistic. It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to be a millionaire in 2 weeks from not making any money at all, or something, for an example. But seeing yourself in your happiest state 2 weeks from now, and you're just working consistently at those small little habits day in, day out, and you'll feel so much stronger coming out of it, knowing that you did it yourself. You've done this yourself. You haven't resorted to coping mechanisms that have made it comfortable within the moment to make you feel happy for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then even shittier after. So it's a lot of delayed gratification, but along the way, recognize that you are working on yourself, and that will make you feel so much more proud, confident in yourself, and obviously that will contribute to feeling happier. I hope that all made sense eventually, or you took a little bit from every piece of that. But I hope this helped, and if you had any questions, my DMs are open, and I hope you have an amazing day. Save this video for when you need it. Goodbye.